Okay, so I decided that I was going to make a quick little card. And so my son was nice enough to set me up with this lovely setup so that you can kind of see what I'm doing. And I'm going to try to keep everything in the little area that's being recorded. But I have my stuff out that I need. I have my watercolor pencils, my Hey Chick stamp set, and I'm going to move it out of the way because I have the two little stamps that I'm using today, which is the You're a Good Egg and then the little egg that I'm going to be using. I have my cardstock. I'm going to use one sheet of Whisper White to make this card, and then I have some of the Smoky Slate Thick Baker's Twine that I'm going to be using to make a little nest for the little lovely cracked egg. And so that's how I'm going to put this together. No washi tape today. Ha ha ha. And so I'm going to kind of go ahead and move things a little bit out of the way. I need to trim down my paper, which is the first thing that I'm going to do. And I have my paper trimmer from, I don't know how long I've had this thing, probably quite some time, from when I first began scrapbooking. And so I'm going to go ahead and trim this down to 5.5 inches so that I have two sheets. One of these of which is going to become the basis of my card, and I'm going to set my other piece aside. And you can score the card and then do that. I don't. I just kind of line it up and turn around. Take a bone folder. This is my little bone folder. I've had it for ages too. It's not even made out of bone. It's made out of wood. Use it for quilting. But now I have my card. And so I need, I should have gone ahead and taken out my ink, but I didn't. So the first thing that I'm going to do is set that aside. And I need to take this, and I'm going to use my Big Shot. And I'm using my stitched shape framelits, and I need 3 squares. Actually, I'm going to do 2 squares. Back up. Rethink that. I don't know if I could get, trying to determine if I could use, I bet I could. I bet I could get that in 3 squares. So I'm going to take 3 squares, and so I have all 3 of those, and they're going to, it'll all be white. Set that aside. Now, to set up the Big Shot, I have, of course, my platform. I have my thin die adapter. I have my lovely little cutting surface. And to set up the Big Shot, basically what I'm going to do is put out my cardstock. And I am making 3 of these. So I am going to go ahead and lay all 3 of the dies down. And these go face down where the cutting surface is to the bottom. And then I'm going to put the top one that kind of holds my Big Shot sandwich together. And I'm going to rotate that through the Big Shot. And as it goes through, it's going to cut out those dies. All right. Now, all of those have been cut out. And they will all stack on top of one another because I want to give this a little bit of dimension. And so that was the purpose of me using 3. And I'm doing this in real time. I'm not going to speed this up or anything like that because I want you to see how quickly you can make a card. So the first thing that I'm going to start with is I want to put the little egg in there. And so I'm going to take the little clear block and using black ink, I'm going to center him in there. And now I have my little egg onto the smallest square. Clean off my stamp really quickly. And now, while I have this out, I'm going to do the same thing. I have my You're a Good Egg. And I'm going to put that on my card. And my card is going to be opened up like this. So I'm going to put that basically in the top right-hand corner. Apply some pressure. And then move it. And it's, oh, I hate it when that happens. But that's okay. It'll work. Make sure that you're careful about how much pressure that you apply on there. But that's okay. We can always work with that. It just looks like it's meant to be. All right, so now that that is out of the way, I have some baker's twine that I'm going to be using. And I'm going to color my egg. So before I use my baker's twine, I want to take my watercolor pencils and using the orange, I'm going to color the feet. Let me set that aside. I'm going to color the feet of the little baby bird trying to get out of his little egg. All right, so he's all in there. And now, because I want to add a little bit of dimension to my little egg, I'm going to take the basic gray and I'm going to come down here and I'm going to barely just touch the surface of the little egg stamp. I'm coloring it very lightly. Because I want to provide a little bit of shading. And I may come up here and just kind of right in that little area, put like a little dot so that I have a little bit of dimension. And then this is where the lovely blender pens come in handy. You can take the blender pens, that side's blue, I don't want to use that. And so I'm going to take, and right there where I put that, I'm going to kind of blend that out. And then down here where I've added in that light area of the gray, I'm going to take and kind of smudge that on in there. Just enough. Bring it in so that it looks as though there are no more brush or color marks on there. So now that looks as though it was painted on. All right, so I'm going to take that big and I'm going to apply a little bit of adhesive. And I want to put that one flat to the card. The next one, apply some adhesive. And I'm also going to apply that to the card. Try to center it up as much as I can. I'm not OCD about things like that. I know some people are. And then here is my little egg. Well, before I attach the rest of it to that little egg, I want to first attach the egg to the card. And so I'm going to put that on there. I'm going to center it up as best I can. If you're OCD, kind of look away. All right, so now I have that on the card, and this could be perfect just as it is, but I'm going to take some of this slate gray, and I'm going to cut it. I swear I think someone's been cutting something else with my paper scissors. So I'm going to take this and untwist it. I have a piece that's probably maybe about 8 inches long, but I want to undo this, unravel it, if you will. And so we're going to unravel it. Come on. And get it to the point where it's a little rough looking. All right. Unravel some more. All right. So the reason why I'm doing this is because I don't want that great big thick piece. I want it to look like a nest. And so I will take some adhesive and I am going to build him a little nest, and I kind of want his little feet to show, so I'm not going to be too worried about that. But I'm going to build a little nest, and I'm going to put down my adhesive first. And then I'm going to take a little stick, if you will, for lack of better words. And I'm going to start to shove this into place. Just kind of setting it down into the glue as you go. It does not need to be perfect. Nests are often not perfect. Move that string out of the way. And if you're counting, I think this is like 5 ply. You could probably use There's like 5 strings out of there that I'm actually using. But you could probably use the I think floss that you use to cross stitch with would probably work just as well as this. Trying to press in with a little stick, mostly because it sticks to my fingers. It doesn't want to come back out. But I'm trying to stick this into the glue so that it stays attached to the card, not so much to me. We'll add just a little bit more glue. Right in there. A little bit more right in there. And this provides a nice little dimension for that card that you otherwise would not have gotten if you just left it stamped. All right, stay down now. And I'm kind of going around and rolling my little craft stick so that, and I honestly have no clue where I got the craft stick from. It's probably an old skewer that I've filed down from when I made dolls. Okay, so now that that is attached to the card, you'll just let it dry. And notice that I still had 2 lovely pieces left over. And I will save those in my little scrap bin for later. And that is how you make a card using that. And like I said, don't apply too much. I'm not too worried about it. I could go around and finish drawing that out if I wanted to and make it look like I meant to do that. But remember, mistakes can always be changed up and you can always add things to it. But that's all for today. Thank you.